stopped paying 200 to 400 yen for a coffee.
Oh yeah.
I've had to stop taking sugar. You can probably guess why at your age. The only time I take sugar is sitting in a coffee shop. So, you owe this extended interview to this sugar.
Oh yeah, I cut down on the sugar because it just spikes and then it drops really quick. And I put the pounds on right away. With the sugar,
I've lost in the time I've been here this time, which is about, I've just been here just over a month now. I've lost heading for 5 kilograms.
Oh, excellent! You're doing good.
Simply not from, well, mainly from not taking sugar, but not eating so much as well.
I think that's why they live longer, is the diet. They have the excellent medical care, and then they walk a lot. They get a lot of exercise.
Yeah, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So
the commercial.
This is more like a story than anything else, but in relation to not knowing what they want, I do know why. I think I know exactly why I got these 2 jobs. Right, 2 of the biggest jobs I've ever had.
Okay.
One was to impersonate Elvis Presley, and the other was to impersonate Freddie Mercury.
Do you want to do those now?
No,
what you did?
No. Well, no, it's not. It isn't like that.
Okay.
Both were almost exactly the same. Okay, I can't pretend I don't know who Elvis Presley was. I don't even wish to. I even know 1 or 2 of his tunes. But even as a teenager, never listened to or been interested or had any knowledge of pop music.
Yeah.
Just not me. Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, this. Great. Pop music, forget it. Don't know anything about it. Okay, I can't pretend I didn't know who Elvis was, right? But when I went to the Freddie Mercury one, I knew he was had been a pop star. I knew he had been gay, and I knew he was dead. That's all I knew about him. Right, both auditions, this was a bit later on, I'd say 2004 or 5, so things were beginning to trickle down a little bit. I went to these 2 auditions, and there was, well, 50 or more guys there when I rolled up, and the whole thing had been going on all day. They were coming and going in droves. They auditioned hundreds and hundreds of guys for both these jobs. Well, the first one, the Elvis one, I arrive and there's all these guys there, and the dream of their life is going to come true. They're going to impersonate the king. And I'm thinking, I don't belong here. So I get in. If you agree to go to it, it's not quite as strong as agreeing to do a job. If you agree to do a job and don't show up, they can charge the entire cost of the shoot to you or your sponsor.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And even sue for more if they want.
Right. Not turning up to an audition you've agreed to go to isn't as bad, but you won't be working for that agency again ever.
Right.
So, I go into the big interview panel. There's an old bloke walking around at the back, shabbily dressed as though he's just a caretaker or something. This deadly serious interview panel. And before they could start speaking to me, I said, look, excuse me, I've never listened to pop music in my entire life. I don't know anything about it. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm terribly sorry to have wasted your time. May I go? Which point the guy behind, who appeared to have nothing to do with it, came alive. And we got into not an argument, but a vigorous exchange. I said, oh, don't sing, don't sing, I don't know. Right, thank you. And 9:30 the next morning, the agency rang me up and said they want you. Why? The same thing happened with the Freddie Mercury. Why? I was the only blank sheet of paper he saw. I was the only person who hadn't got an agenda about Elvis or Freddie Mercury. Or didn't even know who Freddie Mercury was. If he'd show me a picture of him, oh, so that's Freddie Mercury. Okay, yeah, I know who Elvis was. That's why I got both jobs. I was the only blank sheet of paper that the director saw.
And that's what they wanted?
And no, the director wanted somebody who's going to do what he wanted, not what they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
I was the only person who hadn't got his own agenda.
And then hindsight, after you did it, did you do anything like they actually would have done? Do you think when they were filming you?
No idea.
No idea on that one.
What I learned from these acting things, I think it's called method acting. I don't know. They ask you to. They want you to perform some action for some reason.
Yeah.
You have to have something going on in your mind that you can hold on to that allows you to give them what they want to see, even if what's going on in here is unrelated to what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to have something to fix your mind on, otherwise it's wooden. And I sort of focus on that when I'm doing a job, and usually they get the take they want in just quite quickly, within 1 or 2 goes. Even though my thinking is about something completely different. It's focused on the job, but what's allowing me to be angry isn't the situation that they're filming, it's what's going on in my head.
So did you study method acting or Stanislavski or Shakespeare?
No, I very quickly realised that when you're faced with a camera, not a stills camera, a movie camera,
yeah, and
he says smile, and then he says that's brilliant, keep it like that, unless you've got something to smile about, you can't.
Right.
But you must smile and then try to keep smiling, it's dead. So one of the best ones I had with that was I had a quite big job with a translator turn up the night before. Translator come assistant. We had a rehearsal the night before. This is just a story, is that okay?
Yeah.
And this was one of the best agencies, one of my favourite agencies, where Hasse used to work. And I was there with the girl from the agency. And they just had to take lighting checks and this, that and the other. And then the next day was the shoot. It was a very, very expensive shoot. I had to play 3 characters. Then the translator girl turned up. And firstly, I didn't like it on the moment. You know how you meet somebody and you think,
yeah, it's like 2 magnets reversed.
This is hopeless. Then I realised her English wasn't up to it. I used the translator. Right. Then I ignored it. I was talking to the agency lady, and I realised I was effectively ignoring this girl who I was going to have to work with the next day, and effectively I was being rude to her, which doesn't make for a good working. Right. So I tried to. By the time we'd finished that evening, I really liked her. No, I'm not suggesting I got off on nothing like that, but I flipped, and I was positively looking forward to the next day. Now, 2 things. One thing happened that helped that. I had to sit cross-legged at a low Japanese table, and they were checking. So I was sitting on the floor cross-legged like this, as an old European guy. And she came across to me and she said, the director wants to know how long you can sit like that. And I just said, I don't know. I'm not boring him yet. And she said to him, he doesn't know. And the atmosphere had been very good. And it dropped a bit. And she came back and he said, well, it's really important, he really needs to know. I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. So, she said this again, then the atmosphere went dead cold. She came back and said, it's really important. So I said, well, I meditate. And I meditate, generally speaking, for about an hour. So, I can sit like this for an hour. I don't know if I can sit like this for 2 hours, I'm sorry. So she went back and told him that. They looked at me and the whole place fell about laughing and the atmosphere was restored. He wanted to know if I could sit still like that for 3 minutes. So that was that. Then, the next day, various shoots. and I said to her something like, if she stood in my line of sight when I was facing the director and he was talking to me, if she could stand in my line of sight, it would make it, doing this to the, and it doesn't work. But if she stood there, it's all right. She was brilliant. They had the studio booked till midnight and didn't expect to get out till midnight, and we started at 10 in the morning. We'd finished by 3 in the afternoon, not because I was any good, but because this girl was so good. Anything I wanted, you know, she was amazing. Even though her English wasn't up to the job, her whatever totally compensated for it.
Her desire to get the job done, or
no, she was just into what she was doing. I had another similar girl.